In this work, we've investigated how we can design play using drones. This work aims to inform how we can generate playful experiences, focusing on a subset of the definition of play. So now that we provided a brief overview, let's delve a bit further into how we've actually separated up play and what Roger Callow's definition actually means. So Ludus play is the more rule-bound restrictive play or regulated play. The Paida play, that tends to be the more explorative. So exploring, letting your imagination run wild. So to start off, we brainstormed, okay, how is the user going to interact with the drone? In Paida play, as imagination runs wild, you want that intuitive sort of interaction. So we brainstormed the more physical, more natural pushing and pulling motion, as can be seen here in one of our demonstrations. This pushing and pulling to interact with the drone is something that comes naturally to many people when they want someone to follow them or like. After we'd completed these designs, we ended up with 3 different minigames, which you saw a brief overview of at the very start. These ones include collect the butterflies, where the player would move the butterflies to a location where they choose, as long as they're all within a similar proximity to one another. And then we had float the balloons, which is based off the simple game of where you raise the balloon up and down, and the players would do much the same. And finally, match the pixels, where you would move the drone around until it matched the other drones in the sequence of output they provided. Now, of course, once we'd finished playtesting the games, we observed that the drone play itself lends itself very strongly to collaborative play, and that it confirms the prior work that we noted in our Venn diagram to design for simplicity. As there is a more complex environment in the physical space, you need to design simpler games so the user is able to understand it more easily. And of course, there's only a limited amount of either sensors or feedback you can set the drone to do with current technology. Therefore, you have to choose how much you want the drone to sense or how much feedback do you want it to give. And from these observations, we were able to develop several design strategies. Our design strategies revolve largely around the pervasive nature of the drone-based play, which we identified. And pervasive games, as you may have seen in the previous slide, are games that can be played anywhere, anytime, and with anybody. And they aim to pervade the player's environment. So to develop for these sort of games, we suggest that designers aim to design for simple interactions with the drones. You don't want the player to spend more time trying to remember the rules than they are in actually engaging in the game. We noted that since it is in the physical space, you want someone, or if you're a bystander, you want to jump in and help the main player. And since it's so easy to do so, it's best if you design the game around it. It's best if you design it so a bystander may jump in and give a helping hand at a second's notice. And to further support that idea of collaboration, it's best for people to plan for ease of disconnection between the player and one particular drone. And we did have some room for future designs. As I mentioned before in the definition of pervasive games, there were 3 key components of playing anywhere, anytime, and with anybody. Our particular designs targeted the anywhere, as you could see the variety of play environments, both in the overview and when we were showing the play environments before. And as we suggested with drones being better for collaboration, we touched on the playing with anybody. However, we didn't quite get the opportunity to fully explore the playing anytime aspect. And of course, as we mentioned with our play, we were based purely around the push and pull method of interacting. Therefore, there may be room for further improvement of physically touching the drone, say if it had a cage or a balloon above it as a proxy, to explore the other methods of interaction for how you can create and generate play. All right, and that wraps up the details of what we've investigated thus far in regards to designing play with the drones. Thank you for listening.